Fishing or walking? I chose fishing. My parents can practically claim that I learned how to fish before learning how to walk. Proudly displayed in my home is a picture of me sitting in my dad's lap on the edge of a river, helping my dad hook a big one. I was barely 2 years old. My passion for fishing has continued to grow exponentially over the years, but I still like to help my dad from time to time. While the current pandemic has had many negative effects on our society, it has afforded me more opportunities to do what I love most, which is getting outside and going fishing. Fishing allows me to clear my mind and eliminate stress. I love fishing so much because it is a hobby that I can share with my family and friends. One of my favorite things to do is take my family and friends fishing and share the experience. One of my favorite people to take fishing with me is my 9-year-old cousin. I love seeing the bright smile on her face when she reels in a fish. According to dictionary.com, fishing is defined as the act of catching a fish. Fishing originated as a means of providing food for survival. Fishing as a sport, however, began to grow soon after. In early human history, fishing was very different. People would catch their fish by hand or using rudimentary tools made from natural materials. This was known as subsistence fishing. The very first fishing rods ever made dates back to about 2000 BC. This was known by the stone inscriptions found in Egypt and China. It is recorded that there are about 60 million anglers in the United States today. The materials needed for fishing are a rod and a reel. The one I am using today is a spinning reel, which is a more basic reel and much easier to use. Next, you are going to need line, which I already have here on my pole. This is 10-pound monofilament line. There are two other types of line, which are fluorocarbon and braid. When choosing what pound line to put on your reel, you want to be very careful. This is because if you put line on the reel that is too heavy, you will get what's known as wind knots when you cast. These are very hard knots to get out, and you will most likely end up having to cut it all off. You are also going to need a hook. A very basic yet effective hook is a wide gap worm hook, and this is a 3/0 size. Lastly, you are going to need a lure. My favorite lure to use, especially during the summertime, is a Senko. This is a great all-around easy to use bait. First things first, you're going to want to open your bail while holding the line with your pointer finger. This keeps all the line on your spool from coming out. As you can see, if you do not hold your finger on the line, your bait will fall and all of the line will come spooling off the reel. Next, you want to aim toward where you want your lure to go. Now, choosing which technique of throwing the lure is very important. If you have a specific place you want the lure to go, you're going to want to do what is known as a sidearm cast. If you're not really aiming and you just want to get your lure out as far as possible, I would recommend the overhead cast. This is because the overhead cast lets you get a lot more power into the cast, which will make your bait go much further. After your bait lands, you want to wait a couple seconds. I usually count to 3 in my head. This is because it gives the water time to settle and gives the bait some time to sink deeper into the water column. This is a key step because fish will oftentimes be deeper in the water column when it's hot. This is because the deeper it is, the more cool the water is going to meet. Then you are going to reel a bit of the line in and twitch the rod. I won't twitch the rod any more than 2 times. Twitching the rod gives the bait some action. It resembles a bait fish dying or a bait fish trying to escape from a predator, which will draw in the bigger fish's attention. After you twitch the bait, you leave it for about 2 more seconds. This gives the bait time to start sinking back down. Then you reel up your slack. Slack is the line that is not tight. It's loose because you twitched the bait. After that, you twitch the bait some more. You want to repeat these steps until your bait gets a few feet from you. Then you can reel it up and try again. I have shown you the proper technique to casting a reel and retrieving it in. The materials needed for fishing can be found at a basic store such as Walmart and are very inexpensive. Fishing is something that I love doing and will continue to do for the rest of my life. It's like a sport that will never end. There's always something new you can learn about fishing. I have been fishing for as long as I can remember, and there are still things I am learning that I never knew before. You can fish for food or simply as a sport. It is equally enjoyable either way. By teaching you about this enjoyable hobby, I hope it will become one of your favorite hobbies.